guys, welcome to a new vlog. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and when you're watching this. Been a long time since I took this out, but something happened today morning. You see these branches for the rain last night? Some of them fell and hit the car. Luckily, this dent can be removed easily at the showroom, but no paint damage, thankfully. But today's attention is this. Since I got the Nexon, I haven't used the Elantra. It's just that this is just more exciting and fun to drive. In this video, I'll try to cover as many points as possible in the 10,000 kilometer or 1 year ownership review of this amazing vehicle. If you want a detailed review, you have to check the teambhp page. I'll let you know on Instagram. The ID is here whenever I finish writing that article, and there you can check the detailed ownership review. But for this video, I'll have a very brief overview highlighting the top 5 points that I like and maybe 5 that I don't like. I don't know if there are 5, I need to still write it down, but there are quite a few points that I love about this car. So let's get going. Maybe we can talk while on the go. Just meeting Sriman and Aitya for a small coffee. The first thing that struck me when I saw this car in person was the looks. I like the previous Nexon, but I thought there are too many curves on the car. They changed the front end so much that it's quite sharp. It looks a bit like Evoque slightly, but I like it. I like the front end of this part. The rear could have been better. There are still some of those old curves. I think if they can improve the rear, this car would look phenomenal. So with the EV, they had a mid-cycle refresh. I don't think they'll refresh it anytime soon. On a whole, the design is nice. It will give that mini or compact SUV look. I'm starting to like SUVs more than sedans. So the first thing that I liked is the design. For design, I would definitely give around 8 out of 10. It can be better. And the second point that struck me the most is the interiors. The white seats and the piano black finish on the dash. I got PPF done for the dash for those piano black bits. It's holding up well. The places where I didn't have the PPF, there's still some scratches. So piano black looks classy, but it can scratch up easily. So you need to take care of that. These white seats too need a bit of maintenance, especially the driver's seat, because I've been using it a lot. I've cleaned it once in the last 1 year, but if you do it every 3 months, I think the look can be maintained. But it's like a breath of fresh air in terms of interiors. Not the typical beige or black interiors. This white kind of looks nice and classy. Ergonomics wise, everything is laid out pretty well. I'll show you how the touch points feel once I stop, but for now the seating comfort is pretty good. Chaitanya, I like the rear seat so much. It's pretty comfortable. For a compact SUV, it's at least 1 or 2 classes higher in terms of comfort, and the seats are nicely bolstered. One feature that they dearly miss out is ventilated seats, but when I got the Elantra, that was the only car that had ventilated seats, so that was the top of the wish list. Now a lot of cars, Hyundai and Kia cars, have ventilated seats. Even Skodas are coming up with ventilated seats. It's a feature that once you get used to it, you would want it on every car. Okay, now that we have signal, we can talk about the ergonomics. So there's a flat bottom steering wheel. It feels nice to hold. I wish they had more features like cruise control or something, but there's still some dead buttons. And the interesting thing is you have the horn here at the edge. Some of them complain about accidental touches. Never happened to me. It's just because I hold it here. A lot of people are used to holding it. This is the right position, 10 and 2, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That's the right place to hold the steering. As usual, my friends are late, but that's good because I can cover some points. This is an analog digital instrument cluster. So you have the speedometer there. On the left hand side where you typically have your RPM indicator, you have a battery mode indicator. So you have power, eco and regen modes. Regen is when you're pressing the brake or when the battery is regenerating. So what happens is the motor turns in reverse and recharges the batteries. Eco, very obvious, and you have power mode. So whenever you get that ready symbol, that's when you can change the drive modes. So we can have drive, sports, and you have a battery indicator at the top. These red and blue lines are like the minimum and the maximum limits. Think of it like this: if you're under the blue line, you're regenerating. If you're above or touching that red line, you're using a lot of the battery power. You have trip meters and the settings menu. There's a basic settings menu. Also at the top you see those FM controls, right? If you plug in an Android phone, you get turn by turn navigation here. Nifty feature. That's it for the instrument cluster. Some of the other features are, I think these are removed in the new Nexons, but you have the home button which will go here, and you have Apple CarPlay. I hardly use the Nexon's own software. I typically put it in CarPlay most of the time, but this is decently responsive. There is still some lag, but decent screen. And the best thing that I like about this screen is you have these hotkeys. I can skip or play music here. go to my phone menu directly and go back here. And this control is one of the best implementation that I've seen in any cars. Like, look what happens when I turn this. Let's say if I go to Spotify, you have to just press it inside and it would go to that application. You can select every item on the menu with just the dial, and the scrolling is easy and smooth. So you can always use the touchscreen, but sometimes I like this. This has an automatic AC. Yeah, talking about features, right? This has a manual parking brake. I like it. I like the manual stuff. I think they should still give a P parking on the gear shift lever. So there's the gear shift lever. If you have to change modes, you have to press brake and then only change. But to change from drive to sport, you can do it without pressing the brake. And it has a USB port, a 12-volt charger, and that's why I got this car charger. Anchor ka, very good quality. Link in the description. That's a hook to keep the bags in place so that they don't move. The sound system is by Harman. It's pretty good, yeah. One of the best that I've heard so far, besides Bose, obviously. Talking further about space, you get this nifty, fancy feature. Quite a lot of space. You get even a laptop holder. You get cup holders here, but who would have cups here? Yeah, someone sitting here, this would come in between, right? So that's an ergonomic failure. Comes with a sunroof. Stepwise opening. You need to press and hold. This is just for that spoiler effect, I guess. Just one light here, no light at the rear, and we have height adjustable seat belts. The switchgear quality is decent, not the best, but chalega. We have an umbrella holder, obviously using it. And these door pockets can take a 1-liter water bottle. Initially I thought the space was not sufficient here, but then I realized there is quite a lot here for a 1-liter water bottle. I love the rear seat in this car. This is very comfortable, and as you can see, this is the legroom in my driving position. I'm almost 6 feet tall, yet you have a lot of room. Space to put your feet inside. 2 AC vents here at the back, and also that's a 12-volt charger. We have decent headspace. There is a sunroof cutout. If this is not there, I think the headroom would be much higher. Good quality handrests with cup holders. And the best part about these cup holders is you see these rubber inserts. They're slightly flexible, so the cups stay in place. Now let's see the boot. That's almost 350 or 360 liters of boot space. These seats can fold down, so it's a 60-40 split, and once you do that, the space is quite a lot. Good quality panel tray. In the rear you get a light, it turns on and off automatically. You get a spare tire, that's a steel tire. So once these fold, that's how much of space you get. The third thing that impressed me the most about this car is the space and comfort, guys. Like, for a compact SUV, this is the most comfortable and spacious car that I've seen. That's impressive for an EV because EVs need to accommodate the batteries underneath the floor, and what happens with that is the floor height is increased. Typically people sit with their knees so high, it is kind of not so comfortable in the back seat. In that sense, Tata has done an amazing job with the Nexon EV. Another advantage is the ground clearance has gone down by only 5 mm. So instead of 210 mm that you get with the Nexon, regular petrol diesel Nexon, here it is only 205 mm. The difference is very little, and you have amazing ground clearance. Like, this feels and drives like a proper SUV. Talking about drive, that is the fourth point that impresses me the most about this car. If you have seen my previous videos, I've done those 0 to 100 runs. I've covered how the new tires feel. Go check out the previous videos on the Nexon EV. It's in the EV playlist section. 0 to 100 takes less than 10 seconds, and even though the top speed is capped at 120, in the city where this is primarily used, 100 is a lot here. But the best thing about performance within the city is it's so zippy to drive, hence probably they call it zip drive or something. It's just that you can weave through traffic. The signal stops are fun too because you want that 0 to 60 run sometimes. That excitement only lasts for maybe few events. After that, you want to increase the range. You get that you get into that mode where you want to squeeze the maximum out of the batteries. So the number of times I would use sports mode is probably, or accelerate so much in sports mode, is maybe 3 or 4 times. But these days I'm driving more in sports mode because I want more regeneration and I want more available power for different occasions. I hardly put it in the basic mode because sports mode is more responsive, you get more regen. And all these modes have different battery ranges. So in regular mode, I definitely get 190 to 200. In sports mode, somewhere 175, 180 is definitely possible. The primary purpose of this vehicle is city. Occasionally you can go take it outside the city for less than 200 kilometers, but if you have to stay overnight, charge it. The infrastructure is not that great outside the city, but for city rides, this performs amazingly well. Because of the low center of gravity and added weight, it handles well. It much better than the petrol and diesel Nexon. The ride quality is also supple. It is comfortable, not sporty or not too cushy. Let's say you're interested now in the Nexon EV. You want to know how it works out, how do you charge the car, how do you use it on a day-to-day basis. For existing subscribers, you might have seen many videos. So here also I'll just give you a brief overview of how the charging works. So with a petrol or a diesel car, you always have the advantage of going to a petrol station. A quick 5-minute stop, you have a full tank of fuel, right? In case of EVs, you might have to plan your rides, you might have to prepare for your rides much ahead of time, because we don't still have the infrastructure in our country. Tata has done an amazing job with setting up fast chargers. Initially they were free, but now they're charging for that. I think it was 112 rupees 50 paise for 15 minutes of charge. So roughly 500 for a full charge. Full charge would take you 1.5 hours. So no point. Use them only for quick charges. Home is the best place to charge, because for me it costs around 6 to 6.5 rupees per unit. So for me it cost me 200. Now with my solar panels, it hardly cost me anything. You can check my past videos for the solar setup and the cost. Talking about home charging, so this is where the charging connector is located. You have an AC and a DC. So typically in the home you only need the AC charger. The DC is used as those fast chargers. Hardly use them, hence the dust. Some of you might be wondering how it works in the rainy season and all. Usually you need to cover these ports so that water doesn't seep in. You won't get any electric shock or anything, but if you spray water inside, obviously it could be bad. This has some rubber gaskets and all, so it's decently sealed, not a problem. So this comes with a charging cable. That's a plug point that you can use in any 5 amp or 15 amp. 15 amp works well. 5 amp you need to test for earthing and all. So this is the AC plug male side of it. Also they have these indicators in case you're charging somewhere outside. You need all the 4 lights should be on and should be working. That's the charging kit that comes with this. I've already covered this in the delivery video, but this is the charging box that comes with the car. This has an MCB and a 15 amp socket, 16 amp socket to be precise. And this is decently waterproof. You have the ceiling, that's why you see dirt here, but not so much inside. The best way to protect this is just get a roof here or a box and cover this up, but so far it's been running okay. The distance between the charging box and the connector is the most important thing. I think the charging cable is only 3 meters wide, so you need to keep in mind where you want to keep this charging box. For me, this was the best spot. Can vary depending on your house and requirements. Personally, I think Tata Power or Tata should offer free charging at least for a year or so, if not few months, because EVs haven't been adopted yet, and thanks to pandemic things are getting delayed. We need to promote EVs and adoption of EVs as early as possible, because it's for the greater good, not just for the planet and all, just in terms of how we live in the society and all. I think there are tons of videos which explain that. I don't want, that is a whole different topic which we'll not cover in this video, but I think that charging infrastructure outside should be free as of now in India. That's the point. So we have covered external design, internal design, comfort and space, performance, charging infrastructure. So those are the 5 main points that I wanted to cover in this video. But you might be thinking why I haven't talked about service and all. See, I've had only 2 services. First was a 1000 kilometer service, and then the second one was I think 7500. 1000 is free, 7500 was also free. For the first 1 year I think they won't charge you, but after that I think even if they charge you, the bill would not cross more than 1500 to 3000 rupees. That bird is nice, but it's irritating now. Anyway, service shouldn't cost more than 2 to 3000 a year. That's per year, add up to 5-6,000. That's the highest, because there are not many moving parts here except the motor. So the only thing that you need to take care is the motor and the tires. Rest all are hardly anything. So that's another benefit of an EV. Let's talk about some negatives. One, as I said, the charging infrastructure outside the cities, outside your home is charged. That's not good. There's still some doubts about Tata service. I found it 7 out of 10. It can be improved. It's not at a Hyundai level yet, but can definitely be improved. Hyundai has come down a lot. Cost is another factor. state governments are offering incentives, there are tax rebates in some states. I think central government needs to offer a unified subsidy system and remove that initial barrier. They should still pay some premium for EVs over petrol and diesel, but it shouldn't be this much. I think it will slowly come, but it's going to take time. As of now, I want more features, free charging outside, and less outright price. These are the only three negatives that I can think of. Maybe better service from Tata going forward. As of now, I have no complaints. There was some issue on the battery, but they corrected it where it was stalling in neutral. Since I think the first 2 months or something, I never had an issue. The software is still buggy, not the perfect system, but come on, we can't compare this to Tesla. It's still years ahead. So those are the few things that I wanted to talk about the ownership review. There is no camera trick, it's nighttime. Was editing this video, then realized few things were not in focus, few things were not right, so tried to finish it off or wrap it off with some of the features. So that walkthrough that you saw earlier where I was talking about the instrument cluster, that's done now. There are tons of other things that I wanted to cover, but this video would probably be 1 hour long. So watch out for the teambhp article. I will let you know on Instagram whenever it comes out. But that's the very short and brief ownership review of Tata Nexon EV. But on a whole, very satisfied with it. If I have to give a rating, previously I gave 8.5, but once I started reviewing each and everything, I think I would give 8. Few small things here and there can take it to 8.5. Like I have an upcoming service around 15,000 kilometers or 1 year. I would probably have a better idea on how the service is. I follow up with a senior service advisor who helped me with the battery issue that I spoke about earlier. So he takes care of my service. If the service quality is same for everyone, then they're good enough. Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And in case you're watching this nighttime, have a good night and take care. Bye-bye.